And what happens to me in this system is that you can get groups of people together and they can introduce candidates into the election pool with a common goal in mind as to who they want to put in office. And through the numerical sequences, you can end up with them dominating the vote. In other words, they can put the votes where they want them to go based on whatever issues they as a group feel that need to be addressed. So they get a candidate, they may pay somebody to run for office, and that to me is subversive. And you end up with people that weren't interested in really being in charge of the city. So that's one of the unfairness that I see in this system.
Yeah, and I remember you told me that you're a mathematician, right? So would you share with me a little bit about how, you will try to figure out and what you found?
Right. Well, numbers are exact science. The only exact science that exists, everything else is theory, is math.
Yeah.
1 + 1 is going to equal 2 all day. 1 from 2 equals 1 all day. So the problem comes in when you say that you're going to take an equation and modify it. You can't modify an equation. When you present an equation, whatever you present it as, that's what it is. When you allow a system to change itself so that 2 + 2, instead of becoming 4, becomes 9, now you're creating a false narrative. And this is what happens when you have numbers that break sequence. For every odd number of candidates that we add to an election pool, it creates a problem. Example, if you have 100 people voting and you only have 2 candidates to choose from, somebody's going to get the majority of the votes. And we've always existed with the majority rules. And I can't think of a fair way to run an election than having the majority decide who's going to lead them. Okay. So when you add odd numbers, though, you take that same number of voters, say 100 again, but you add a third person, there's 33 votes, and 34 votes, because 33, 33, and 34 equals what? 100. So that captures 100% of your voters. So that person with 34 is the winner. There's no doubt about it. It's an exact science. There's no doubt about it. But on the same token, it could have been 10 and 40, 49, and the remaining number is only 41 of that 100. So the person with the 49 would be the winner. He doesn't have to have better than 50% of the vote, which is what ranked choice voting. It says you got to have the majority of the votes. And what they do, they take my vote of the person I wanted, and they say, okay, he didn't get a majority. So what we're going to do, we're going to move to the lowest voter in that sequence, and we're going to see who he would have voted for had he had an opportunity to vote for the person that had the majority of the votes. If he does, then that person is going to automatically win the election. But if he doesn't, what they do, they take his or her votes and they add it to all of the other people. They break it down. So now the pool is progressing in such a manner that the numbers have changed. The person that had 49 may have 49.5% now. And the person that had the 10 might end up at this point with 12%. So see, the numbers start to change, and you don't want your vote to be devalued. And under ranked choice voting, your vote becomes devalued. What you intended is change, because the more people in the pool, the more disbursement, because every time you don't have a person with 51% of the vote, they have to run the numbers again in order to try to get somebody to that point. That's